Hello and welcome to Vidigya. So let's start with our daily analysis of newspaper. So first we'll start with the Indian Express. So the first news on the Indian Express is rise in capex will create jobs, brings in more investment, said by PM. So though this news was or this announcement was made by our honorable Prime Minister on a day prior when we had seen the speech of our honorable Finance Minister, but this news is more so of a our honorable Prime Minister address to his own political party, that is BJP. But the news is important. Why I have highlighted, and we need not to make notes on the same. But herein the idea is, according to Prime Minister, rise in capex that we had already discussed in our yesterday's discussion, that capital expenditure we have seen a whooping increase of nearly 25 to 27% if we compare it to the last year's budget. So that will, according to Prime Minister, this will eventually helps in creating more and more job opportunities, and that will eventually helps in creating a more robust infrastructure in the country, and the country will eventually go on the path of making products indigenous under Atmanirbhar Bharat. And the PM has also cited this thing to the workers, to the BJP leaders of the five poll-bound states wherein the elections are going to held. So our honorable Prime Minister has urged, has told this thing to all the members of BJP party to inculcate this particular thing, that there's a rapid increase in terms of expenditure which has been seen especially in terms of capex, and if we compare it to the previous regime of UPA government, according to Prime Minister, their capex was quite low when we compare to the capital expenditure which we have seen in the recent budget. Okay, so then we'll move forward. Yes, PM on capex, as I told you, it's basically talking about the UPA regime which we have seen, and the current regime wherein the capex is increasing like anything. So that's why the PM has talked about the recent reforms which the government has taken with respect to telecom sector, especially in boosting infrastructure and even the PLI scheme. So all these things have been talked in by the Honorable Prime Minister during this particular meet. Okay, the city part we can skip. Yes, this is important. Two more Ramsar sites announced on World Wetlands Day. So World Wetlands Day we celebrated on yesterday. That is on 2nd of February. Every year we celebrate World Wetlands Day. So on that day, what has happened? Two new Ramsar sites have been added, and that is now total that the tally of Ramsar sites in India has increased to 49 such sites. So the first one is in Gujarat, that is Khajidia Wildlife Sanctuary has been included, and second one is Bakira Wildlife Sanctuary of Uttar Pradesh has been included on the World Wetland Day in the Ramsar sites, right? And if I talk about Ramsar sites, this was initiated by UNESCO in the year 1971 under the Convention on Wetland, which was held in Ramsar, which is city in Iran, right? Chali. So this we can skip. This is basically an advertisement. This is about the upcoming election which are going to held, and elections, the voting is going to start at the earliest, right? Okay, so as a budget session of parliament is already there, been going on, so weekend foundations brought Pakistan China together, Rahul accuses government. So senior Congress leader Shri Rahul Gandhi has made allegations against the current BJP government, NDA government, that the way the government is functioning, and it has paved a way for Pakistan and China to come more and more closer together in the current phase, the way our diplomacy, our foreign relations has worked. So that's why he had talked about the same, and apart from this, he had talked about the budget which has zero contribution with respect to those people who are hard hit in the past 2 years with this COVID-19 situation. So and he talked about that this budget does not contribute to MSMEs, farmers, individuals, small businessmen. So this all budget is for the rich only. All these things have been stated by Sri Rahul Gandhi in his budget session or during Parliament in the Lok Sabha. Then he was retaliated by Sri Jaishankar, S. Jaishankar, who is the current External Affairs Minister. He had said that uh, they should cite. He had cited about the history lessons that Sri Rahul Gandhi has made a lot of statement, but he should be aware of this thing that China and Pakistan together came. It is not the first time that in the past 5 to 7 years, ever since Modi government is there, that that China and Pakistan have came together. Even in earlier, there are a lot of instances. Especially, he had talked about 1963 incident and even during 1970s as well. So he had cited few of the examples wherein even the example of 2013 wherein the China-Pakistan economic corridor was started. So at that time, the Congress government or the UPA second government was in power. So External Affairs Minister tweeted about the same. And Shri Rahul Gandhi has also talked that in the Lok Sabha that this is the way this government is working. It has been seen that even on the Republic Day celebration there was no chief guest. So S. Jaishankar, our External Affairs Minister, has said that because of this COVID-19 situation, we have not called them in person, and Shri Rahul Gandhi has to be aware that we had already initiated this process of calling these five Central Asian leaders, and though they were not present in person at our Republic Day celebration, but on the very next day, that is on 27th of January, our Honorable Prime Minister held a virtual meet with the presidents of all these Central Asian leaders. So this way, the political tussle has been going on between both these political parties. Okay, this is also about the budget. Okay. Then we'll move forward to the editorial page. So the first editorial is the budget's balance. It seems symmetry between pulls and pressures of growth and stability finds a path of continuity trust. So the author himself, Shri N.K. Singh, is the head of the 15th Finance Commission, chairman of 15th Finance Commission. So in the initial part of this particular editorial, he has talked about this budget, which talks about which will eventually help our country in paving the way for the development part. And he has also stated that the way this government, the budget is not inclined towards the poll-bound states, wherein the party or Shri Nirmala Sitharaman ji, she has not tried to put it in more efforts towards those states which are poll bound, so that will eventually help BJP. But this is not the case with the functioning of Mr. Modi, how he worked, right? And even about capital expenditures, he has also mentioned that a rapid rise in capital expenditure which has been seen, which will eventually help in creating more and more jobs opportunities, and even more and more development in infrastructure as well. So he has cited about this thing as well. And he talked about the way the continuous efforts which has been taken, especially with respect to collection of taxes, which are helping away the way our economy is sustaining even after fighting this pandemic situation. So Shri N.K. Singh has talked about the same as well. And even the corpus which is going to be provided, which has been stated, and especially with respect to roads, railways as well under PM Gati Shakti. So all these things have been mentioned by the author in this particular editorial. And even the GST collection, as I told you. And apart from this, the author was quite optimistic that this budget will eventually help in the development of all the people. This is a budget which has taken care of a lot of issues, especially with respect to cryptocurrency, and even the digital currency, which will soon be announced by RBI as well. So all these things have been stated, and even the recent reforms, what all we have seen, that has also been stated. But at the end of this editorial, the author has also stated that there are few things wherein the government has not put it in much effort, especially with respect to farmers, and reducing the amount in the Manregas and other schemes. So that will eventually creates this government on a negative side. But still, this budget will eventually helps in creating more and more jobs opportunities, and this budget will eventually helps in creating more robust infrastructure in the country. Okay, then the first opinion, trading gingerly. So on both growth and revenue estimates, the union budget has been cautious, builders in buffers. So herein the author in this particular opinion has stated with the recent budget estimates, which wherein we had told about the nominal GDP growth rate at 11.1% in the upcoming fiscal year, though the real GDP growth rate has been stated at 8 to 8.5%, as we have seen in the economic survey as well. So herein what the author is trying to say that the government already is not so optimistic. They have already, set the benchmarks a bit low, which will eventually help them in the upcoming fiscal year as well, because they have already stated that though they were eyeing that the GDP growth rate for this fiscal year will be 9.5%, which was earlier then came down to 9.2%, and now in the upcoming year that has been stated to 8 to 8.5% only. So according to the author, the government is already quite not, no, quite pessimistic with the way we have seen with respect to increase in GDP growth rate, because if the GDP growth rate is compared with the previous year, so if you are already setting the targets low, that will eventually helps in when you will compare with the situation from the current year to the previous year. So this has been talked by the author in this particular opinion, and the author has also cited about the taxes which are eh, eh, going to be included in the fuel tax as well, and even in terms of the 5G spectrum, and even the disinvestment target which has been set, though this has not been said formally in the budget by the finance minister regarding disinvestment, but the government is quite optimistic with the way they have already done disinvestment in of Air India, the Tata deal which has recently got concluded on 27th of January, right? And even the huge outlay which is going to be provided on under PM Gati Shakti, under housing, railways and roads, that will eventually pave the way, and even the subsidy bill and the recent cut in terms of amount which we have seen nearly 25% in terms of Manrega as well. So all these things have been talked about by the author, but if I talk about the crux of this particular opinion, wherein the author is trying to say that the government has set the target comparatively low when we compare to the current year with respect to the previous year. Okay. Okay, so this news, China fields Galwan Valley soldier as Winter Olympics torchbearer. So as Winter Olympics are already getting started from 4th of February in one or 2 days, we'll be seeing that Winter Olympics are getting started. So now what China has done again, they have done this thing. In the incident in the month of the last year in June month, the incident which we have seen of Galwan Valley clash between Indian Army personals and PLA, that is Liberation Army of China. So now what China has done, one of the torch bearers they have made of uh, of Chinese Galwan Valley soldier, that is the name is Kui Fabao, whose images were released in a tweet by Global Times, an English language news platform of China. So they have revealed that one of the torch bearer will be Ki Fabio, who has tried to defend their country even at the time when they have faced a fierce tussle between India and Indian Army and the PLA. So this is one of the another work which has been done by China. The recent events we are already aware regarding renaming of 15 places in Arunachal Pradesh, and building of a separate bridge under Pangong. So all these things are already being done, and this is now another topping this particular list of Chinese influence over India. Khijadia Bird Sanctuary listed as Ramsar Site, fourth in Gujarat. So recently, this announcement has been made that Khijadia Wildlife Sanctuary, which is situated in Gujarat, will now be added as another Ramsar site. And if I talk about Ramsar sites, we have already seen passages with respect to in GK section in our previous examination with respect to this Ramsar site and wetlands. So as I told you, World Wetland Day as well, which we celebrated yesterday, and now two more sites have been added to the World Wetland Day, right? On the World Wetland Day. Then if you move to the explained part, the first explained is the India-Israel relationship. Diplomatic relations between the two countries have just completed 30 years. Yes, on 1st of February in the year 1992, Israel has set up its embassy in India, and in the subsequent same year, in the month of May, India has also set up its embassy in Israel. So this particular explaint is talking about the diplomatic relations, the way both the countries have in terms of defense ties, in terms of economic ties, and even in terms of going for an FTA, that is free trade agreement. The way these countries have worked in for the past 30 years, this has been talked about in this particular explaint. wherein the Israeli space, the Israel and even India as well. This was a bilateral relationship between both the nations, wherein both the nations have helped each other. And though there are some exceptions as well, if we see the current situation, when last year when this dispute between Israel and Palestine dispute was going on, and at that time when the resolution was passed, India had supported Palestine because of the Muslim population, and they don't want to hurt the Muslim population which is there in India. So there are few instances wherein we have got opposed or against Israeli government as well, not government, but basically we have not passed resolutions against or gone with the resolution which are there for there, or which were in favor of Israel. But still we held a healthy relationship with the Israeli government, right? And even the visit which we have seen, even the photograph as well, we can see. And the way this was the first time when the government of late Shri Atal Bihari Ji government was there. So he became the first one to went there. Then even Jaswant Singh, then foreign minister, he also went to Israel for a visit. Then this BJP government or NDA government, ever since Modi regime is there, so under our honorable prime minister had also visited Israel, though he had not visited in his first visit to Ramallah, which was the disputed territory between Israel and Palestine. But in the subsequent year, next year, he went to Ramallah as well. So if I tell you, there are a lot of issues between both the nations, especially with respect to diplomatic issues. But still, the way both the nations have helped each other bilaterally, especially, and even as per CIPRI report as well, we are also dependent in terms of defense equipments to Israel as well. So yes, the India and Israel relationship is going to pave a way for in times to come, and it will eventually helps us like anything in times to come as well, right? Then second explained is Assam Arunachal border dispute 1951 to now. So we are already aware that recently the chief ministers of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, because Assam earlier was a big state, then it got disintegrated, and then these small states then became a separate state. But there is no proper demarcation between, or there is no proper boundary demarcation, the land boundary demarcation between these states. So that's why there's always been tussle being going on between, and this is not the first time. These are long pending issues which are going on. Since years. So now this government is quite proactive in solving these disputes which are going on. So recently we have seen that Assam's Chief Minister, Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister, Shri Hemant Biswa Sarma and Shri Pema Kandu, respectively, both have met and in Guwahati with respect to solving the dispute. But even after that, we have seen that the border clashes that have started in the neighboring states or the neighboring villages of both the states. So this particular experiment is talking about the 800-kilometer boundary which is there between Assam and Arunachal, and earlier steps had already been taken in order to resolve the dispute between both the nations. And even in the year 1983-84, we had seen that out of the 800-kilometer boundary dispute, nearly 500-kilometer boundary was demarcated, but that demarcation was not accepted by Arunachal Pradesh because that was eventually helping Assam. So still a long way to go with respect to solving this dispute. But the way the union government, the central government is working in solving these disputes, and even these chief ministers had met recently as well. So eventually, if there are more meetings are going to held, then that will eventually helps us in solving the dispute between both these nations, both these states. Then on the world section, US to deploy more troops in Eastern Europe help NATO allies. So as this ongoing tussle which we are discussing for nearly more than 2 months between the Russia and the Ukraine. So USA has already made its stand clear, and they have already sent a lot of troops with respect to solving this ongoing dispute. So now it has been approved by the Biden administration that they will be sending additional 3,000 American troops to Eastern Europe in case if Russia goes for invasion of Ukraine, because Russia has already sent nearly 1 lakh troops to its Ukrainian border in the eastern side. So now USA is already quite aggressive with respect to this ongoing dispute between both the nations. So in times to come, we'll see more clarity, but a lot of talks are getting held as well. So recently we have seen the US Secretary of State had met his Russian counterpart and had a conversation. And now Shri Putin and Mr. Johnson, Boris Johnson, UK Prime Minister, had also discussed this ongoing dispute between both these nations. Then on the right hand side of this news, as nations ease COVID-19 curves, WHO wants more move premature. So as we are seeing that it's been nearly more than 2 months that we are seeing this Omicron wave of a pandemic, and the cases are soaring like anything. But in still, as this is not so deadly as compared to the previous variants with which we have seen, especially with respect to Alpha and Delta variant. So now uh, what WHO has want, WHO director has already said that the way all the nations, especially the Western nations, especially if I talk about USA, Europe, the way the curbs, the restrictions are getting lifted, all these things will eventually paves us in a way that will put in a more devastating situation, as said by WHO. And WHO have said that easing of restrictions which have been imposed are premature on the part of these countries which are taking early steps, and they are taking this Omicron variant on a lighter note. Okay, ठीक है. So herein we ends the discussion of Indian Express. So now we'll move forward to the Hindu. Fitch Ratings flags high fiscal deficit target. So recently, as we have seen, that budget has already been unveiled on 1st of February by our Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. So Fitch Ratings has depicted that the way the amount of capital expenditure that has been put it in by the government, that will eventually help them. But still, the deficit target that they had set of nearly 6.4% of the GDP was higher in comparison to what Fitch rating, that is 6.1% of the GDP, what they had anticipated. So that's what has been revealed by this Fitch ratings. Okay, this we can skip. Jammu and Kashmir Delimitation Commission likely to get another extension. So this was quite in controversy because on August 5, 2019, we had seen that Article 370 and Article 35A was revoked from Jammu and Kashmir, right, and then it led to making this a union territory. So what has happened on March 6, 2020, means nearly 6 months after, a separate delimitation commission was formed who was overlooking the entire situation, that whether how the elections are going to held and when will be going to, of making Jammu Kashmir again a state. So for that, a delimitation commission has been set up. And recently, why delimitation commission was in controversy, because they have made this draft they have made this in draft that the number of seats in Jammu region and Kashmir region has to be increased, and this has led to a huge controversy, especially with respect to the local the state political parties which are there, especially PDP, National Conference, that they have said that in Jammu region the number of seats has to be increased from 37 to 43, and in Kashmir region the number of seats has to be increased from 46 to 47. So these state political parties were of the opinion that this is not the right thing, because in Jammu region more of the population is Hindu. That's why BJP is trying to polarize this particular elections, the upcoming elections which are going to held in Jammu Kashmir. So now what has been proposed, that Jammu and Kashmir Delimitation Commission likely to get another extension from the center. Okay, so Amravati is Andhra Pradesh capital, said by minister. So recently we have seen that Andhra Pradesh government has taken back this step of earlier in the year 2020. We had seen that they have proposed the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Sri Jagan Mohan Reddy, has proposed that they will be going for three state capitals, and in the very next year, that is in the month of December last year, we have seen that this proposal was taken back by the government in the state legislative assembly, that will come up with a concrete solution with respect to having are we going for these three state capitals. So as this has been asked in the in the parliament about that which is Andhra Pradesh capital, so the Minister of State for Home Affairs, Shri Nityanand Rai has made the statement that Amravati remains the capital city of Andhra Pradesh, and this has been cleared by the and this has been answered on a query which has been asked by BJP leader itself, GVL Narsimha Rao, that there is a confusion that which is the capital city of Andhra Pradesh. So the Union Minister of State for Home Affairs has made this thing clear that Amravati is Andhra Pradesh state capital. Okay, now we'll move forward to the first editorial on the editorial section. That is, there is a discourse shift in Uttar Pradesh. Economic hardship, chronic unemployment, and farm distress appears to be at the center of public discussion. So this is about the upcoming elections which are going to held in Uttar Pradesh. So in the first initial phase, the author has talked about the gravity of and the importance of Uttar Pradesh, how Uttar Pradesh will eventually helps in creating a roadmap for the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha elections as well. So the way the BJP has tried to go on for a Hindutva card, but that is not going to be possible with respect to the current situation, wherein Samajwadi Party has already been there and they are catering to the Muslim vote bank and the Yadav vote bank, and even the Bahujan Samaj Party is eyeing for the Dalit and Brahmin votes. So this is going to be a big challenge, and even the Congress Party is eyeing for the women votes. So in the earlier elections, what we have seen in the year 2017, wherein BJP has won a landslide victory under Shri Narendra Modi and the Chief Minister then announced Shri Yogi Adityanath. But this is not now. The upcoming election is going to be a big challenge for the Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP, that how they are going to move ahead with the current situation, wherein the farmers are already against those against BJP, and even the recent reforms which they have taken. So all these things are definitely going to be a problematic situation for BJP, that how they are going to go ahead with in this upcoming election. And even there some of the prominent leaders, they had also switched political parties. So this is going to be a big challenge, that how BJP is going to move ahead, and the challenges especially with respect to citizenship amendment bill act protest that has been mentioned, and even the farmers movement, and even the student protest, especially with respect to this examination. So all these things we had seen with respect to upcoming election. And the author has also talked about the OBC vote bank, and even the caste based census as well. So this particular aligns the way the political parties are working, are functioning in Uttar Pradesh, will eventually paves the way for the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha election as well, as I told you. And caste is going to be a big challenge, that how BJP is going to playing the Hindutva card, which is not going to be easy what they had done earlier, especially in 2017 and 2019 Lok Sabha elections as well. So second editorial is Inc. India Britain free trade unlock new opportunity. There are good economic and strategic reasons for an FTA that will spell many opportunities for both countries. So this editorial has been written by a British High Commissioner to India. So he has talked about the way the ties between the economic ties between India and UK are getting increased, and that will eventually that are in the process of and both the countries are in the process of going for a free trade agreement, FTA agreement between both the nations, and that will eventually helps in envisioning the vision of both the leaders, the Prime Minister of both the nations, Mr. Modi and Mr. Johnson, to double the trade. The overall trade which has been going on in the upcoming next 10 years. So the author, the British High Commissioner to India, is quite optimistic with the way the UK companies which are working in India, and the way the IT sector of India is working in UK, and this is eventually helping them. The author has talked about the companies like Barclays and Unilever, which are UK based company, which is having a big chunk, especially with respect to Barclays in terms of economy, and especially with respect to Unilever, which is an FMCG company, the largest FMCG company which is working in the country, and that is providing a lot of employment even in the nation itself, that is India. And even the Indian companies, the Indian startups which are working, especially with respect to, as I told you, IT sector. So all these things are eventually helping and creating a way for going in on for a free trade agreement between both the nations. And already the economic ties, we are quite close with USA as well, but UK is also among P plus 5 nations, and it is also having a permanent seat at UK UN as well. So this free trade agreement will eventually help in not only in creating economic ties, but also creating a way for our dependency what we are having with USA. Much more, we are much more dependent upon USA. So this will eventually help in creating a more robust relationship between both the nations, this FTA. Then the first opinion, imperial excesses, governors must work within constitutional parameter, not as agents of the center. So this editorial is criticizing the way the governors of different states are having a continuous tussle with their respective chief ministers, and this thing we generally see when the party which is at power at the center and even at the state, the parties are different. Like the best example is Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, and even at Rajasthan, even in Tamil Nadu as well, wherein there are a lot of instances wherein we have seen in the recent controversy between Srimati Mamata Banerjee and Shri Jagdeep Dhankar, the chief ministers and the chief minister and governor of West Bengal. So recently, the chief minister of West Bengal had blocked Shri Jagdeep Dhankar, the governor of West Bengal, on Twitter, and even the controversy what we have seen, especially with in Maharashtra as well, regarding election of state assembly speaker, which is not there for a long period of time, and even the recent bills which has got promulgated and which has not got assent in Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly as well by governor. As well. So all these things have the author is trying to say that the governor should not work as a political puppet of the center. They should work decisively that which all things which are or which all policies are going to be better with respect to the particular nation, particular state. Then the second opinion, a dose of realism. Disease prevention with COVID appropriate behavior and vaccination is still necessary. So this is about the recent statement which is stated by the WHO chief, that is Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus Adhanom. So he is talking about that more and more nations are putting off curbs with respect to Omicron variant, and this is highly transmissible. But it has been seen that still it has not got evaded yet. Still, a lot of countries are facing, nearly more than 170 countries are still facing cases with regarding to the same. So countries needs to work upon vaccination. Countries need to work upon putting more and more curbs with respect to seeing this particular situation, because the earlier situation, earlier variants, what we have seen, though they were quite deadly and they were quite dangerous, this is not so with this current variant, but still this is highly transmissible, and this is creating a more panic, especially with respect to the health infrastructure in the country. Then creating jobs by increasing capex. So this through this particular editorial, the author is trying to say that the way the capital expenditure has been increased, and that has went to nearly 7 lakh crore for the upcoming fiscal year, that will eventually help in creating more and more jobs. So this has been appreciated by the author, that the way the recent steps, especially with respect to in different sectors, which has been taken, and the recent reforms which all has been taken by the government, that will eventually, and even this budget as well, that will eventually helps in. And the author has also talked about the revenue part, wherein the disinvestment which has already been done of Air India, and even the way the government is eyeing for going for digital, especially with respect to setting up of TV channels, 200 new TV channels, and uh, especially with respect to education and healthcare as well. So all these things would eventually help in creating a more concrete framework for the upcoming future growth of our country. Then India isolated, voice of states muffled, says Rahul. So this was about the speech which has been given by Shri Rahul Gandhi in the Lok Sabha, and he was quite opposed. He was opposed on Twitter by. He was countered by Shri S. Jaishankar on Twitter, and he had talked about that he is not having much information, especially with respect to calling of chief guest in the Central Asian region. Okay. Step up second dose coverage for teens. So, as the vaccination process for children had already been started for 15 to 18 age group on January 3rd. So, only one vaccination, that is Covaxin, is getting inoculated for these children. So, the time gap has to be 28 days. So, this statement has been made by the Union Health Ministry, that that 28 days time period has already been got ended on 31st of January. So now we need to work upon how to go for the vaccination process of the second dose, because the time period for Covaxin is already only 28 days only. So this is high time that we need to work upon the second dose, and even those children who are not still get vaccinated even with the first dose as well. So work needs to be done, or state needs to work upon the same. Then Zyco VD supply to center starts. So Ahmedabad-based company Zydus Cadila had started sending its vaccine Zyco VD to the center, and it will be soon started introduced in states like Bihar, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal. Wherein in terms of population, if we see the situation in terms of vaccine, these states are lagging behind. So that's why this vaccine will be sent, and that will eventually help us in our vaccination drive. Then PLA Galwan commander is Olympics torchbearer. This we had already discussed that Keith Abau has been one of the torchbearer at the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics. US NATO offered trust building steps to Russia, say leaked files. So recently, Spanish daily website has leaked some files in which has said that US and NATO is quite optimistic in order to solve this ongoing dispute between which has been going on between Russia and Ukraine. So this has been mentioned in the files which has been leaked in these Spanish daily website. Then India Exim Bank, Sri Lanka signed 500 million loan agreement. So this, as we are already aware that Sri Lanka is in an economic emergency situation. So they are in need of foreign funds, especially with respect to purchase of oil, because oil prices are soaring in their country. So now they have taken a line of credit from Exim Bank, Export Import Bank of India, and they had signed a deal of nearly $500 million. Expect states to fully tap rupees 1 lakh crore loan corpus, said the finance minister. So finance minister has made this statement that in this proposed budget, wherein the center has proposed that those states who are willing to increase its expenditure in terms of infrastructure and everything, they can take an amount, a corpus of nearly 1 lakh crore for a 50-year interest-free loan that can be provided, and that will eventually helps in the development of their state. So according to finance minister, he is quite optimistic that more and more states will go towards the same, and they will avail this benefit of getting a loan of nearly 1 lakh crore. So herein we ends the discussion of both the newspaper. So that's all from my side. Thanks for watching.